building a better Bay Area. Moving forward, finding solutions. This is ABC 7 News.
Hi there, I'm Kristen Z. You're watching Getting Answers live on ABC 7, Hulu Live, and wherever you stream. We're asking experts your questions every day at 3 to get answers for you in real time. Today, one day after Giants catcher Buster Posey announced his retirement, his former teammate, another Giants legend, Hunter Pence, joins us live. You definitely want to stick around for that. But first, Pfizer has been synonymous with the COVID vaccine. But today, the drug maker announced it has an experimental pill to treat COVID that is highly effective. This as the vaccination campaign for 5 to 11-year-olds kicks into high gear. So joining us to talk about the latest is the chair of Department of Medicine at UCSF, Dr. Bob Wachter. Dr. Wachter, great to have you here.
Always great to be here. Thank you.
Let's start with the Pfizer drug. Apparently, it's proven so effective in a clinical trial, they're ending it early. Is that right? What do we know about it?
That's correct. When you do a clinical trial, you have these. You have a committee that looks at the data, and if it's so good that it's not worth continuing it because you know the answer, you stop it. And that appears to be the case with the Pfizer drug. So that's terrific news. We heard about a Merck drug that's very similar a couple of weeks ago that was 50% effective in preventing hospitalizations and deaths. If this really turns out to be 90% effective, that it gets up near the game changer range.
Wow. Okay. So how does it work? And I guess at what point in an infection would a patient take it?
Yeah. So the first point is get vaccinated. And if you're eligible, take your booster because those prevent you from getting COVID in the first place. And they also prevent you from getting really sick. These pills are, if you have COVID and it gets diagnosed quickly and early in the course before you get too sick and you start on these pills, they decrease the chances that you will get very sick. So in many ways, people may be familiar with a drug called Tamiflu, which is a drug we sometimes give to people with the flu. That's sort of what it's like. It's a pill that you start taking when you know you do have COVID. The key is early in the course before you're very sick. So it really is going to depend on people getting access, first of all, feeling ill and testing themselves, and then calling their doctor, getting a prescription and getting on the medication rather quickly. It's not approved yet, but if it's as effective as it appears to be, I think we can expect it'll be available sometime in the next month or so.
Next month or so? Okay, before the approval of the Merck one?
I think the Merck one is moving along pretty quickly too. So, you know, I'm sort of expecting that both of these will get emergency use authorization sometime in the next 2 months. Hard to know exactly what the timeline is, but if it's this effective and if it turns out, we need to see more data on it, but if it turns out it's as safe as the Merck drug appeared to be, which seemed to be completely benign, then I think we can expect an emergency authorization in the next number of weeks. We'll have to see.
Can I ask you, how big of a deal do you think these pills that look pretty effective at treatment and preventing the most serious outcomes, when you add that to the vaccinations, does this get us to the point where it's not the end game, but moving towards an endemic where we go, okay, a lot of people are not going to be dying from COVID anymore?
Yeah, it's possible. It sort of depends. It depends on whether people take it and get it and have access to it and all that sort of stuff. Because we would be at the end game if 90% of people who could get the vaccine had gotten vaccinated, and they haven't. And so there's a little bit of mileage between the approval of medicine and people actually getting it and taking it. But yeah, I do think this is an important piece. It's a piece that says if someone's at high risk of a bad outcome, either because they didn't get vaccinated or even if they did and they get a breakthrough case and they're at high risk, if they can very rapidly get on a pill if the Pfizer holds up, if it prevents 9 out of 10 bad outcomes, then you really get to the point where virtually all of the cases are going to be mild. They're either going to be mild because of vaccination, or they'll be mild because even if you haven't been vaccinated, and you should, and then you get on this pill very quickly, that will also prevent most cases of severe COVID and death.
All right, but as you said, being treated for COVID is not as good as just not getting COVID, and that's where the vaccine conversation comes back. And of course, as we know, vaccinations for 5 to 11-year-olds are now getting underway in the Bay Area. While national polls show only a third of parents plan to rush out and get their shot for their little ones, that is certainly not the case in the Bay Area. Dr. Wachter, here appointments are pretty hard to come by. So do you have any tips?
Yeah. I don't have any. I wish I had tips to get in. I mean, the main tip is to try multiple places and to be patient. It's not an emergency. You know, we're 18 months into this. If it takes a few weeks, it's not a big deal. Continue to act as safely as you've been, and also recognize that first shot, although helpful, doesn't work as well against Delta as the first shot did in the old days. So you really, you know, although you'd like to get the first shot quickly, it really is after you've gotten the second shot that you're truly safe.
Okay.
But the main tip is to get your kid vaccinated. The benefits of it are real, and the safety, I think, is very, very, the level of safety is very, very high.
Okay. We'll talk more about that in a little bit, but you tweeted something that's very significant, I think. You said, in your tweet, you said, this is it. Today's COVID situation is a version of the one we'll live with for at least the next 1 to 2 years. Explain that.
Yeah, when I look at the forces of good and the forces of bad, they sort of balance out. And I think we're seeing places like the Bay Area that continue to do very well. But we're seeing in California, which has done well, the beginning of an uptick. Nationally, the cases were coming down beautifully and have now plateaued. In Europe, cases are going up in some countries that had been doing very well, Germany most prominently. In the UK, they had come down and they plateaued actually at a very high level, higher than the US. And I think what we're seeing, it's a lot of data points, but if you combine all of it, what we're seeing is some forces to combat COVID, the vaccines, and I think mandates are helping. People, they seem to be working. The 5 to 11-year-olds getting vaccinated, all good. These new oral antiviral medicines will help. That's all good. On the other hand, immunity from both vaccination and particularly from natural infection wanes. The people whose immunity came from vaccination, most of them will get boosters. All right, good. The ones who got it from natural infection, when their immunity wanes, they're going to be vulnerable again. There may be people that don't take the oral agents or can't get access to a test. So when I throw all that together in a hopper, I sort of think we're in the state that on average is about where we're going to be for the next couple of years, which means we're sort of going to have to get used to this uncomfortable equilibrium that we find ourselves in now.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. So given that you think this is it, what rules, policies, and mandates do you think we should be dropping, if any, or changing?
Yeah, I mean, it sort of depends on where you are, and the Bay Area remains in pretty good shape, but we've got to be careful because it's pretty clear that if you let your guard down too soon, look at Germany now, cases are skyrocketing. If you let your guard down too soon, this thing will come back to bite you. So I think we want to be careful and cautious still. But I'd say personally, my rules to live by were a little bit different last year than they are now. And partly it was because last year I said, if I can just hold out and try to avoid getting COVID, the cavalry is coming. There will be vaccines or there will be antivirals and all that. My attitude now is this may be the new normal. So I'm more willing to take a few risks that I wouldn't have taken a year ago. I went to see James Taylor at the Chase Center last Friday. It was fabulous. And it was kind of thing where maybe if I knew, 3 months from now, vaccines would be here, I wouldn't have done it, but I'm fully vaccinated and I've gotten my booster. And it was like, if I'm not going to do it now, I'm probably saying I'm not going to do it for the next 2 or 3 years. Same thing with visiting relatives or getting together for the holidays. So I think we know how to be careful. We know the importance of masks. We know if you're fully vaccinated and if you're eligible, you've gotten your booster, I think you're probably about as safe as you're going to be. And I think it's a good time to sort of take stock and say, if I'm deciding this is not safe enough for me now, then I'm probably making a decision for the next couple of years. And that leads to somewhat different decisions, I think.
Yeah. All right, Dr. Bob Wachter, please don't go away. We'll take a short break, continue this conversation on Facebook Live. And when we come back, we'll talk about, the kids and the 5 to 11-year-olds getting the vaccine. Any parent questions, our reporter Kate Larson will be joining us as well. Don't go away.
Right.
Dr. Wachter, I just want to throw out a couple questions at you while we wait for the next segment. We're still on Facebook live streaming. Dawn has been asking this question every single day, so I figure I should probably present it to you, which is, how is vaccinating 5 to 11-year-olds deemed an emergency? And he didn't ask it today, but I think he had at one point tied it to the emergency use authorization.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a little facile. Sort of emergency use authorization means the benefits are deemed to outweigh the risk and the need is acute. And we could wait another 6 months or a year for more data, but the FDA believes, and I believe as well, that the data is secure enough that we can authorize the medication under the EUA. It will probably get full authorization 6 months from now or so. You know, why is it? It's urgent because there have been, thousands of kids who've gone to the hospital, thousands of kids that have gotten this version of an inflammatory disease that is quite disabling, hundreds of kids that have died, hundreds of kids, maybe thousands that will have long COVID from COVID, and the vaccines are quite safe. Yes, there have been these cases of myocarditis. They happen in 1 in 50,000, 1 in 100,000 kids. Very rare that a kid goes to the hospital. Almost unheard of. I think maybe unheard of that a kid has died of it. And so what we know about what COVID can do to kids, and also it will close down a school if the kids get it, I mean, which we know is incredibly harmful. So the benefits massively outweigh the risks. And the benefits are not only to the kids, but to the people that the kids can infect, and they do.
All right, Dr. Wachter, we have about 20 seconds. Thank you very much for that answer. We'll be coming back on air shortly. Joined by my colleague, Kate Larson. I'm sure you've been interviewed by Kate, yes?
Yes, I think so.
All right, coming back out. 3, 2. Welcome back. ABC7 is holding a town hall at 4:30 p.m. in just a little over an hour to answer questions about vaccines for your little ones. My colleague, ABC7 News reporter Kate Larson, is hosting this town hall, and she's joining us now live to continue the conversation with UCSF Department of Medicine Chair Dr. Bob Wachter. Kate, tell us about the town hall. I know you're addressing some of the main questions that parents have.
Absolutely, Kristen. We're really looking forward to this 4:30 hour to really dig deep into some of these questions and concerns that so many families have now that the Pfizer vaccine is authorized for this 5 to 11-year-old age group. Obviously, throughout the Bay Area, we saw some of those vaccines get rolled out this week already, but really tomorrow, November 6th, is when so many more clinics for these pediatric vaccines will begin, and of course into next week as well as more of the supply rolls out. So at 4:30, we are going to talk to ABC7 News contributor Dr. Alok Patel, who's of course a pediatrician and a hospitalist. We love hearing from him. We're also going to hear from Ann Parsons, who's a UCSF family therapist. So she's going to be able to talk about sort of the mental health side of this and anxiety that some families and even kids are feeling now that these vaccines are available. And then we'll also hear from Kimmy Watkins-Tart, who is the director of the Alameda County Public Health Department. So how is Alameda County handling this surge in new requests for pediatric vaccines? And of course, the equity piece. How are they going to ensure that not only the shot, but the correct and best information is available to everyone in the county? So, Kristen, we are certainly looking forward to that. And Dr. Wachter, I actually have a question for you because I was just with a group of parents this afternoon, and one of the questions that was raised, and I think it relates to your tweet about we may be sort of in this situation for the next year or two where COVID exists in our community, is masking in schools. As this 5 to 11-year-old age group gets vaccinated over the coming months, and then hopefully next year when the under 5s are authorized for a vaccine, at what point do you think kids can take off their masks in school and other activities?
When all of them are vaccinated, and I think that's the key. If they're all vaccinated, the level, and I think there are sort of a few moving parts. One is you would really like the rates of COVID in the community to be low, and we're lucky in the Bay Area they're already fairly low. But if I could snap my fingers now and have all of the kids fully vaccinated, I think I'd be comfortable recommending that they take the masks off in school. But until they are all fully vaccinated, then you have the risks of kids bringing COVID into the class and spreading it to others, even though the other kids may be vaccinated, there still are risks for breakthrough infection. So hopefully we'll get the kids as quickly vaccinated as we can. And then I think one of the rewards will be not only will the kids be far safer and much lower risk of having to quarantine kids and cancel classes and all that, but I think one of the rewards will be able to take the mask off.
All right, Dr. Wachter, I know we're almost out of time with you, but we can't let you go without saying congratulations. Kate and I are very happy for you. We saw your tweet a few nights ago when the Atlanta Braves won the World Series. You tweeted that your son, Doug, we got a picture here, read Moneyball, right, at age 12 and said, Dad, this is what I want to do for a job. And now he's won the World Series?
That is, it was not only reading Moneyball. We happened to be at the stadium for the first home run that flew into the Bay. Barry Bonds hit one in an exhibition game, one in the Bay.
Wow.
And his eyes looked like saucers. He just was so entranced by baseball, and then read Moneyball and said, this is what I want to do. And double majored in sports management and statistics, and worked for a bunch of different teams, and ultimately landed at the Braves. And remarkable that they won the World Series this year, but very, very exciting.
All right, Dr. Wachter, got to let you go because we've got another baseball guy coming up, Hunter Pence. You understand, right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Much better choice. Enjoy.
Perhaps your son will make his way back to San Francisco. We'll see. All right,
thank you. I hope so. That would be fun.
Thank you, Dr. Wachter. Really appreciate it.
Thanks
and thank
so
you,
much.
Kate. Kate's Town Hall is coming up from 4:30 to 5 o'clock this afternoon right here on ABC7 and everywhere you stream. You can send in your questions now at abc7news.com/vaccine. You'll also be able to ask them live on Facebook and YouTube during the program. We'll be right back with Hunter Pence. All right, this is super exciting because we've got my personal favorite San Francisco Giant coming up. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love Hunter Pence. There's so many people I love from the 2010, 2012, 2014 era, and of course even now. But always great to have ABC7 News' personal favorite Giant, Hunter Pence.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, are you hearing me, Hunter? I'm really embarrassed. I'm like, laying on the compliments. How are you?
Hello, I'm doing good. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing great. All right, we get there he is, everybody. We're in commercial break right now, but we are on Facebook Live and YouTube, but we'll be coming out in about 1 minute. So
awesome. How are you?
I'm doing great. We've missed you, but I know you've been busy, so we don't want to give it all away. We'll catch up in a little bit, but you look great. Where's your better half, though? Is she there? Is Lexi there?
I think she just took her parents to get the booster, so she set up the shot for me and took off. Yeah, they are to get the booster.
Okay, fantastic. Dr. Wachter would be very happy to hear that. That was the interview before yours. And I don't know if you heard the tail end of that interview about his son being on the Atlanta Braves doing baseball analytics and having just won the World Series.
Oh, no way. That's so cool.
Yeah, super cool. And his son said, I guess the only thing that could be better is if he came back to San Francisco and did the same job, but for the Giants.
Oh, that's so sweet. Yeah, the Braves had their parade today, too, so I hope you got to enjoy that.
Yep. All right, we're coming back on air. How much time?
All right.
10 seconds. Okay, 10 seconds. Doo-doo-doo. San Francisco Giants legend Buster Posey is hanging up his catcher's gear, having announced his retirement yesterday. Number 28 spent his entire career with the San Francisco Giants and won 3 World Series titles, 2010, 2012, and 2014. Another Giants legend played a critical role in 2 of those World Series. Hunter Pence, number 8, ABC7 News' favorite Giant, even though we don't take sides, we don't play favorites. He joins us now. Welcome back, Hunter.
Hey, how's it going, Kristen? Great to see you.
Oh, my gosh. So great to see you. What a season, right? Amazing.
Yes. It was an incredible Giants season, 107 wins. I had so much fun watching it, rooting for them. Obviously heartbroken with the way it finished, but super proud of them and super thankful for the efforts that they put in this year.
And probably because of how amazing it was, it felt right for Buster Posey to walk away at this moment. But still, it hurts for all of us Giants fans. Were you surprised to hear about Buster's retirement? Did you know?
Yeah, I think it's definitely a surprise, especially with how good he did. But I wouldn't say I'm completely shocked. Just because he had kids at such a young age, and he took the road trip so hard, missing watching his kids grow up. He loves, obviously his family. He's such a family community guy. And I just know that his kids are getting older. He adopted the 2 young twins, and he wants to be there for his wife and the kids. And you just miss so much on the road. So I want to just honor how much he gave to all of his teammates, how wonderful his career was. I'm shouting from the mountaintops, Hall of Fame in 5 years, because he was just that incredible, that big of an impact on so many lives and the San Francisco organization as a whole.
I think you saw my question list and you answered my question about the Hall of Fame.
Oh, dear.
Totally deserving. Hey, look, your nickname was the Reverend, right? You were known as the guy who fired everybody up and gave that pep speech and talk when everybody needed it, energized the team. That was, a lot of people think, your biggest contribution to the Giants team. What do you think was Buster's biggest contribution?
Well, it was multidimensional. It wasn't just like one facet, because Buster, as far as the numbers go, was exceptional. Like I said, Hall of Fame type numbers, MVP, won World Series, 7-time All-Star, the best in the world at what he did, not only defensively and receiving, but also offensively, just absolutely incredible. And really, as a catcher, to get offense with the toll you take on your body is just next level. So obviously the player on the field, but what he brought to the clubhouse was a superstar that was humble, that did the right thing every time, that cared about you, cared about others. And it set a standard within the clubhouse, within the organization, within the community. He led us all through his actions. And I think that goes a long way, as far as there's no way I don't think I'm a 2-time World Series champion without Buster Posey, with his commitment to the team, with his commitment to humility, with his commitment to faith and hard work. And so he definitely changed all of us and made everyone around him better, not only on the field, but also great lessons for how to live a wonderful, successful life, and genuinely cared about everyone he came in contact with. And as you see right here, being in the community, all of his stuff for the Pediatric Cancer Foundations. I got to go with him one time, him and his family, and just he put in so much work, and it really does inspire you.
Yeah, he's amazing in that regard. And I have to say, just you and Lexi as well, you've done so much for the community. I think we truly do have the good people on our baseball team here in San Francisco, so we've been so lucky. But I want to ask you, you played for different teams. Buster was always on the Giants, but what were the differences, you think, playing against him versus playing with him? And that is, how did your views about Buster change over time as you played with him?
Yeah, you definitely felt the competitiveness from him from the other side. When you go up and you say hello to a lot of catchers, a lot of times they'll be friendly with you, they'll be cordial with you. And I just remember, and Buster was, younger than me, even though he let me know that the whole time we played together, how old I was. But I just remember coming up to a young catcher being like, hey, have a good game. And he just looked at me and goes, yeah. And you just kind of gets under your skin a little bit. And as I got to play with him, I realized that all of that was somewhat intentional. He didn't want to be too friendly with the other team. He didn't want you to be too comfortable because he wanted to be supporting his pitchers. So all of his little decisions and mannerisms and actions were really well thought out. He was such an intelligent guy, and you felt like such an advantage having one of the wittiest people that calling the game behind home plate. That's your quarterback, and he's the one working with all the pitchers, knowing what they have. So just an incredible, gifted athleticism, hand-eye coordination, so soft behind the plate, and just an incredible leader and well thought in all of his actions on the field. And it was just really raised my view of the game and how to go about things.
Yeah, no, just incredible. And great season. I'm glad you had a chance to enjoy it as a fan. But what else have you been up to other than rooting for the Giants through an incredible season? Because we did see you in the booth, right, doing some pre and post game work for Giants baseball. Is that something that's going to be full time?
I got to broadcast a game as well. Maybe I'll get to broadcast some games. I don't know. We have the Pineapple Labs where we're into coffee. We're doing different things every month. This November is Gratitude Grinds. So that's something I love.
We might have that, Hunter. I think we might have a picture of that from your tweet here. Gratitude Grinds, everybody.
Yeah, the Gratitude Grinds will be November, seeing as it's Thanksgiving. We'll have a 5-minute gratitude journal, something I believe in. I love, a few minutes in the morning, a few minutes at night, putting pen to paper, allowing, yourself to really take in all of the little things you can be appreciative of, even if it's just sunshine, grass, whatever the case may be. Where you put your focus grows. So I love the gratitude journal. I enjoy the coffee. It's something that is kind of a meditation for me and my wife, and a culture to spend time and share together. But yeah, I love talking baseball, sharing the knowledge, sharing what I learned. So hopefully I get to broadcast, do more pre and post, have some fun with Greg Papa every now and then. And who knows, I got to be on a couple of the other shows as well. I don't know what I can say here on ABC, so I'll keep it at that.
Oh, okay. All right. The mystery continues. Do you get nervous at all doing the broadcasting?
Not exactly. I just I know the game. I love the game, and I just talk the game. And I know I have so much experience that it's fun for me to share some of the stories. So I wouldn't say I get nervous, but I do want to do my best. So I just try to come in as prepared as possible, and just let it flow. Okay, your work ethic is legendary. Like, it was true on the baseball field and true in the booth. So it's really fun to watch. So hey, if you ever go full time, or you got some announcement news that you want to break, feel free to come to us. And of course, a lot of people are hoping that you will eventually open a coffee shop here too, right? Like you had in Houston. Oh, that would be so amazing. It's a lot of work. It took forever to get the first one up and running, and we survived COVID, which is great, and we built a really wonderful community, and just made so many great relationships. So hopefully we'll be able to open one in San Francisco at some point, but it's a lot of work, and it takes a long time. So it's definitely like something that we do out of love, and it's just hard to find the right people. So hopefully we can get all that together. That would be awesome, Kristen. I appreciate you saying that.
But the fact that you're even talking about that possibility means, unlike Buster, who's going to Georgia, moving back home, which hurts us so much, he's going to be so far away. You're not going anywhere, right? You're staying in San Francisco?
Yeah, I'm always going to have some roots in San Francisco. I kind of bounce around a little bit because we have a lot of stuff to do, but we still have our place in San Francisco. We spent most of our time there, and yeah, we love it in San Francisco.
All right, so
we're going to be involved there for sure.
Yay. Okay, everybody's happy to hear that, especially all the kids groups that you've been so involved with. Okay, so what's better? Last question, and the toughest. A Buster hug or a Lexi hug? Alexis Pence, everybody, your better half.
Listen, I love Buster, and congratulations on a great career. But he wouldn't mind this at all. 100% a Lexi hug is better. There's no doubt about that. But I'll take both of them.
Oh, wait, sorry. My producer was saying something to me while you were wrapping that up. But you definitely voted for the Lexi hug. No offense to Buster. Good answer. Good husband. You're not getting kicked out of the house. Congratulations, Hunter Pence.
I see you trying to throw the trap out there, yeah. Traps around.
Yeah, no, not trying to do gotcha journalism. Just, I'm very happy for you. All right, we'll take this conversation over to Facebook Live. Thanks for joining us today. We'll take a short break on the air. All right, so Hunter, I love the whole Pineapple Labs brand. It's not just coffee, even though that is a big part of it, because I know that's a personal love and interest of yours. But what else are you guys experimenting with and putting out there for folks to enjoy?
Yeah, so Lexi she's done a lot of things. She's had, I think one of the months was Palo Santo and just like a whole like energy cleansing. Maybe there was some bath salts in there. She loves also, oh dear, I'm drawing a blank. Like different like thank you notes and what is that stuff? The paperwork. Yeah, a lot of like stationery. But she kind of cultivates it every month due to like the month, what she's feeling. December, we are extremely excited about because we've traveled the whole world. And oh yeah, she had pens and stationery and all of that stuff. But in December, we're going to do the 12 days of coffee, kind of a play on the 12 days of Christmas. And we're going to have 12 different coffees that are some of our favorite coffees that we've been to around the nation.
Oh, wow. That is amazing. I enjoyed I forget which blend I had one time when you sent it over. It was like ridiculously tasty. And I'm not very good at brewing coffee. I swear I always get my grinds wrong, but it was still delicious. So that was kind of fun. And it was like the cup too, like it was like a charcoal gray cup. The whole line is adorable, and just I invite folks to check it out. But Hunter, I'm so happy for everything that you're doing. Love seeing you back on TV. Want to see more of that. Want to see more Lexi. So next time I hope she can join us again.
Oh yeah, we hope so too. But she's out of the house right now, and she's been busy as ever. But yeah, love having Lexi, and she'd be happy to be here. She says hello, by the way.
Oh yay! All right, hello back. Thank you so much. Nice to see you. Have a great Thanksgiving.
All right, thank you. You too, Kristen. Take care.
Bye. Ladies and gentlemen, Hunter Pence. He's the best, right? Always so fun. Such a good guy. So I hope you enjoy that conversation. All right, coming back on air in 5 seconds. Thank you so much for joining us on this interactive show, Getting Answers. Today we talked with Dr. Bob Wachter about Pfizer's pill and kids and vaccines, and we caught up with Hunter Pence and got his thoughts on Buster Posey. We'll be here every weekday at 3 on air and on live stream. Bye-bye. Thank you.